Christmas books are a great way for your kids to get a peek into other people's lives, into different situations, and to be able to love them well. We always seek to have a lot of diverse resources within our home all year round, but I love something special about Christmas books when it comes to diversity. It is that a lot of times the books are not about the diverse situation or about that specific culture necessarily. It's just talking about people. It's talking about this particular family and how they celebrate the holidays, or it's talking about this specific child and maybe a struggle that they have, but the whole book is not about that. Today, I'm going to share with you guys 10 of my favorite diverse Christmas books that we love to use in our home. So let's get started. First up on our list is Twas Nochebuena. This is a great Latino book following a family as they're celebrating Christmas Eve. They're making tamales, they're doing a piñata, they are preparing for this amazing evening all together as a family. And this is just such a sweet story as you follow this family and their specific traditions. Now, what's special about this book and what I love about it, we've had it for many years and read it many times, but something that makes it extra special is that this year I get to use a little unit study alongside of it. You see, my friend Chrissy over at A Little Bit of Glam, A Whole Lot of Mom has actually made a resource for Made to Homeschool members all on this book. It has a whole bunch of extension activities, some fun different games, and different things that you can do, other books or other resources to learn about. And I'm going to link Made to Homeschool down below. If you guys are a member, you guys can get that completely free to read alongside or to do alongside this book. And if you are not a member, you can actually join for a free 7-day trial and check out the amazing resource library and other things that are available to our members. The next up is The Little Fir Tree. Now, this might not be what you typically think about when you think of diverse books, but this is one that I really have appreciated and loved over the years. It is about a little boy who is crippled and he is unable to go out in nature. He has not been able to ever go out into the forest. So his dad, as a special treat to him, goes and every year goes up and digs this special tree out of the ground. He brings it into the home so they can celebrate Christmas together and get that experience, and friends and family come to help decorate the tree and to sing Christmas carols. And then when Christmas is over, the dad takes that same tree and goes back out into the forest and plants it. And this whole thing follows throughout his life. I will not ruin the ending for you, but I just want to say, I think it's really important when we're thinking about diverse books to think about people who are differently abled and who have different situations that cause them to celebrate differently. Next up is Grace at Christmas. This is a book, a new one to us. We got it last year and read it and the kids loved it. It's about Grace and her family. She loves to do the nativity every year to act out the story of Jesus' birth. But this year things are going to be a little bit different because there is a family who cannot get back home to Trinidad to celebrate with their own family. So Grace's family opens up their home and invites this other family to come in and stay with them. But Grace is kind of struggling with this concept, sharing her home with strangers, sharing her things, giving up her bedroom. And I just think this is a fantastic story because through this, and as she starts to kind of open up to this idea and to get to know this family more, she starts to have more of a heart for what this family is going through and the struggles of missing out on being with their family for Christmas, and also realizing how beautiful it is to open our homes and to help and to serve. This one really was such a sweet story, and I absolutely would recommend it as it shares a lot, kind of, again, through a lighthearted story, shares a lot about different people's experiences and really helping us to open up our hearts and think about those who maybe can't go home for Christmas and what we can do to help them be more comfortable. This is a fun, lighthearted story, not heavy at all, and it is The Navy's Night Before Christmas. This is kind of a funny, comical story about a man on a ship. He is supposed to be taking watch over the night, and suddenly this kind of comical Christmas Santa Claus-like figure shows up to leave Christmas gifts and to bring cheer to all of the men on the ship. Now, like I said, while this is a very comical and just kind of lighthearted story, it's very very much in the vein of Was the Night Before Christmas, but of course Navy themed. I love this one because it does, again, help my kids to recognize the situation that many people are going through every single Christmas, where maybe they have a brother, a father, a mother, a sister that is away serving our country, and thinking about what can we do. You know, this mythical Santa Claus like character doesn't actually get to show up and bring little bits of home to these soldiers, but what can we do to help encourage them or to pray for them in these situations, and how can we thank them in that sacrifice of being away from their home during the holidays? Grandma's Gift is another book. This one has won awards, and this again was a newer one either last year or the year before that we got off of Book Outlet. It looked really interesting, so I decided to give it a try, and we have actually really loved it. It is about a grandson and his grandmother. He has to do a lot of translation for her. He was born in America, but his grandmother was not, and so it talks about them going to the market and going to buy things, how they have to interpret, how he has to interpret for his grandmother as she buys several different ingredients that may be new and different to your children. I love the fact there's a lot of Spanish in this book for you, so if you're working with your kids on Spanish, this might be a fun one. But it also just gives you a peek into what life could be like and how scary or uncertain it could be to be in a place where you don't speak the language, to be in a situation where you might be asked to do something and not understand what is being said. While that is something that is brought up and you see throughout the story, it's not what the story is about. It's about this grandson who is helping his grandmother prepare for their holiday meal, to get everything ready, making traditional dishes, putting on the music, and in return, his grandmother takes him to a place he's been dying to go to, which is the art museum. And through this experience at the art museum, they get to see different artists. She actually meets a few people that she knows, which is a really big deal because she's used to kind of staying in her own community and her own culture, and is sort of put at ease by that experience. And it's just really neat to see both of their perspectives as her grandson lives in this kind of bridging the gap between cultures, but then also getting to see her being willing to get outside of her comfort zone as well. Cobweb for Christmas is actually based on a folktale, a common folktale that's told in many different countries, in Germany, in Russia, Poland, Romania, Great Britain. All of these places share a similar type story of how did tinsel become part of the Christmas tradition. And it's all about this story of Tanti. Tanti is this little old lady who's all alone, and she is going to decorate for Christmas. And really her true friends are the animals. And I won't go through and I won't ruin the ending of the story for you guys, but just know that this story, one, I love how it shows like the different cultures and how we can talk about folklore and talk about how different places share the same story, but things might be a little different. And I think that's a great opportunity, but I also think it's a great opportunity to talk about the elderly with our kids, to talk about visiting them and to remember that they want someone to come by and to be able to share Christmas with as well. My grandmother is 93, and this is something that really hits home for my kids as she lives locally, and my kids love going and visiting her, and just that great reminder of the importance of connecting with people. Let me know down in the comments, have you heard of most of these books? Do you have other books do you think I should be adding to this list? I would love to know more. Our next one is actually one that I learned about, actually the next couple of ones that I learned about from Rachel over at Seven and All. She has a great Christmas kind of curriculum, unit study. I don't know how you want to say it, but it's very simple. And it's something we've done the past several years called the 25 Days of Christmas. And with each of those, there is a picture card that shares a little bit about a different country or culture's traditions or experiences. And then it has a picture book that goes along with it. And this is one of the picture books that are selected for her curriculum. I'll leave a link down below where you guys can check it out. But this is called the Christmas Coat, Memories of My Sioux Childhood. This is a true story about a little girl who grew up on an Indian reservation and about her time walking to school. Within the story, you see different kids who have different privileges. Some get new things all the time, and others are very dependent on the generosity of others. Honestly, this book has led to a lot of great conversations with my kids about their own heart issues when it comes to seeing how they handle different people having different things that they may not get. yet, and understanding that jealousy is not something that we should be feeling, that we should be able to put others first, and the wonderful reminder that God promises to always provide what we need, not always what we want, but sometimes he also gives us what we want as well. A Tree of Cranes is another book that is included in Rachel's study and is one that has become a favorite for us. This is about a family, a mother, a father, and their little boy. The mother is actually American, but she lives overseas with her husband and with her son. I love this book and how it just kind of gives you a peek into his culture, as it talks at the beginning about how he's not yet old enough to wear pants to school. He still has to wear shorts. So of course that led to a whole conversation. The kids were like, wait, what do you mean he's not allowed to wear pants? So we looked up some YouTube videos and learned a little bit more about how all of that works. And he's just doing little boy things. He's playing in the water. He is having fun. And his mother decides that she wants to kind of share a little bit of her culture with her son as well. But obviously they're not in a place where Christmas trees are, super common. And so she goes out and she digs up this little plant and they decorate it with paper cranes. Seeing how this mother chooses to kind of share her culture with her son and getting to see bits and pieces of their family culture all together is a really, really neat and sweet story. Another book that is not a favorite because we have not read it yet, but is on my list. Everybody I know recommends it, and that is The Vanderbeekers of 141st Street. This is obviously not a picture book. It is a chapter book and a quite lengthy one. However, it has 25 chapters. So what I've been told is the best thing to do is to start at December 1st, read one chapter a day leading up to Christmas. The story is, while it's not exclusively about Christmas, it takes place at Christmas. And one of the things that I really like about the idea of this book, even though I haven't read it yet, is the fact that it is following a large family in a very urban area. And the author, I got to read a little bit about her backstory and how she came to write this very popular children's series. And it was through her own experiences watching different kids grow up in urban environments. This is something that is kind of foreign to my kids. They live in a suburban town. They don't understand the idea of going to a playground that's all asphalt and not grass and not having all of the nature around them. They're very unfamiliar with living in apartments, and the idea of a large family in an urban area could even be pretty foreign for those who have grown up in an urban area, as it's not always very large family friendly. This story is all about this family who's getting ready to get evicted right before Christmas, and the kids try to come up with some different schemes or ideas or plans in order to get the landlord to let them stay. Many of it ends up being very comical, not working out quite as well as planned, but this book, I've been told, is phenomenal. And like I said, it goes through many different themes of, the realness of life, laughter, grief, and more. The 10th book is one you probably have heard me talk about before, and I will tell you right now that this book is something that is a little bit harder to find. So you may check out your local library or check out eBay or thrift books. I'll leave a link down below for thrift books. It's where you can buy used books at discounted prices. But that is my Christmas list. And this is one that has been a family favorite for over a decade in our home. And it's about a little boy, and he is praying through a wish list for different people in different places in different cultures. He's the little girl in Korea who needs to know the Lord. She's praying for the family who doesn't have medical care or who doesn't have running water. She's praying for the family who's in Sudan who is maybe undergoing attack at that time. And ultimately, it's just teaching her to think of other people and really connecting those to real life experiences. So when she brushes her teeth or she gets water, she prays for those who do not have water and kind of connecting that. So it's a great way to kind of introduce your kids to a lot of different situations and cultures, but ultimately to point them to the whole point of all of this. I don't want to have diversity just to have diversity. I want to have diversity in my literature so that my kids understand that that all people are created in God's image, that they can pray for one another, that they should pray for one another, and they should love one another. So if you like this book and you want to learn more about some of the other picture books that we love in our home, be sure to check out this video right here. Talk to you guys later. Bye.